Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we've got the specific nutrition facts chart you shared for Sustagen powder. And we're going to sort of use it like a forensic tool, looking at the 100-gram serving values. This isn't just, reading a label. It's more like trying to read the mind of the people who made it. Really decoding the blueprint, the functional plan behind a pretty specialized nutritional product.
That's exactly right. Our mission here is a pure analysis. We want to connect the specific amounts, everything from the big macros down to, say, the micrograms of iodine, connect them directly to their function or maybe the intended user. We're aiming to look past the simple benefits stated on the tin to really grasp why these particular quantities might be needed and what trade-offs might have been involved in putting it all together. And just a quick usual note, the exact numbers could vary a tiny bit, depending on the flavor or maybe the country it's sold in.
Okay, got it. Let's start unpacking this then. First thing that jumps out is just the sheer energy content. Per 100 grams, you're looking at roughly 400 kilocalories. That tells me straight away this is designed to be, well, calorically dense, lots of energy in a small amount.
Exactly. Dense is the word. And the structural parts back that idea up. We see a pretty hefty amount of protein, somewhere between 15 and 17 grams. And the source is clear on its role, as it says it's needed for muscle building and also for crucial tissue repair. So it's not just providing fuel, it's providing the building blocks for recovery, too.
Okay. And looking at the other big macronutrient, fat. Total fat is listed as 10 to 12 grams, necessary for energy, obviously, and getting those essential fatty acids in.
Yes, but here's where we can add that analytical layer. Within that total fat, the chart breaks it down further. It specifies 4 to 5 grams of saturated fat. And interestingly, the source itself adds a warning. It explicitly says excessive amounts are detrimental. So if the formulators knew this came with a caution, why include what seems like a measurable amount?
That is a good question, a critical one. If the source warns against too much, why is that specific amount, 4 to 5 grams, seen as necessary? Is it some kind of calculated trade-off, maybe?
It's almost certainly a trade-off. I'd bet it's related to things like taste and texture, palatability. Saturated fats play a big role in mouthfeel, that sort of creamy satisfaction you get, especially in something designed to be mixed into a drink. If you're creating a supplement meant to really maximize calorie intake, maybe for someone who's struggling to eat enough, well, you can't really afford for it to taste bad or feel unpleasant. So that 4 to 5 grams, that's likely the balance point they found. Get the texture right, even if it means a slight nutritional compromise.
That makes a lot of sense. So they prioritize making it easy, even pleasant to consume over maybe getting the absolute healthiest fat profile possible. Okay, let's pivot then. Let's talk about the main fuel source, the one that really dictates how this product works. Carbohydrates.
Total carbohydrates, wow, it's a huge number. 60 to 65 grams per 100-gram serving. Yeah, that's 60-plus grams. That's the real engine here, driving the whole thing. But what's really fascinating is how that total carb load is distributed. The chart shows that 30 to 35 grams, that's roughly half the total carbs, and almost a third of the entire powder by weight comes from simple sugars.
30 to 35 grams of sugar per serving. That feels like a really aggressive dose. Why would they include that much simple sugar? It seems like it would be metabolically quite challenging in one hit.
It is aggressive, yeah. But you have to assume it's strategically aggressive. The stated purpose is fast energy. So this isn't designed as a slow burn fuel for, running a marathon over hours. This formula seems biased towards really rapid calorie loading. Think about who might need that. People may be dealing with cachexia, severe malnutrition, or needing fast recovery after surgery. Situations where getting calories in absorbed immediately is the absolute top priority. You need that energy source that requires almost no digestive effort.
So the high sugar isn't an oversight, it's actually a feature designed for instant calorie availability, even if it means potentially messing with stable blood sugar levels.
Precisely. It's maximizing the speed of energy delivery.
Yeah.
But your point about blood sugar is valid because the source itself adds that critical warning, that implication alert. It says this amount may lead to high glucose levels, so the trade-off is crystal clear. You get the rapid fuel, but there's a metabolic cost, potentially challenging glucose control. It's like a shot of energy, not a steady supply.
Right. Okay. And before we leave the macros, maybe just a quick mention for the often overlooked dietary fiber. Looks like about 1 gram here. It listed for its role in digestion.
Yeah.
It's minimal, sure, but it shows they didn't completely forget about, keeping things moving amidst all that focus on rapid energy.
Yeah, a necessary little nod to gut motility. Okay, so the engine is built for power and speed, high performance. But any high-performance engine needs precision parts to work properly, right? Let's talk about the essential minerals, the regulators, the micronutrients that make sure the body's structure and systems can actually handle that big caloric load.
Okay, minerals. Let's start with the ones needed in the largest amounts, the structural players. Calcium jumps out. It's around 500 milligrams. That seems like a pretty serious dose intended to make a real impact.
Definitely. And its purpose is straightforward but absolutely fundamental. Bone and teeth strength.
Mm-hmm.
Then, paired alongside that, we find iron, listed at 8 to 10 milligrams. Now, that dose is particularly high if you compare it to a standard daily multivitamin. The source lists it as essential for hemoglobin creation, making red blood cells, and also for anemia prevention.
What's the insight there, then? Why push the iron level that high?
Well, including 8 to 10 milligrams strongly suggests this product isn't just for general wellness. It's actively targeting people who might be at higher risk of iron deficiency. Maybe people recovering from surgery involving blood loss. Or those on very restricted diets where getting enough iron is really tough. It feels like it moves beyond just maintenance. It's almost like a preventative, prophylactic measure against deficiency.
Interesting. Okay. Shifting to the minerals that sort of regulate how the body uses all that energy. We find magnesium around 80 milligrams, listed as important for muscles and crucially for energy metabolism. And then there's potassium, quite a bit, about 400 milligrams, vital for heart and muscle function.
Right. And we absolutely can't skip over the ones that work in tiny amounts but have huge impacts. The trace minerals, zinc, for instance, at about 5 milligrams, key for strengthening the immune system.
Mm-hmm.
That's obviously critical for anyone recovering from illness or stress. And iodine, around 90 micrograms, a tiny amount, but it's specifically required for thyroid function. The thyroid basically sets the body's metabolic rate, so iodine acts like a master switch for overall metabolism.
It's really quite impressive how they allocate the formulation space. Grams dedicated to quick calories, yes, but they clearly didn't skimp on these high-impact microgram ingredients either. It shows a very deliberate, very comprehensive approach to the design, doesn't it?
It really does. It's like a very complete checklist has been ticked off. But the formulation, I think, truly shows its sophistication when we look at the vitamins, the whole powerhouse list, especially when we focus on the specific functions mentioned, some of which go beyond just, general good health.
All right, vitamins. Let's maybe look at the immune and structural ones first. We got vitamin A, about 800 micrograms, specified for vision, sure, but also for the immune system, and vitamin C, 60 milligrams.
Yeah, vitamin C for immune support is common knowledge, but the strategic inclusion here, according to the source, also emphasizes its role in collagen synthesis. Collagen is fundamental for skin, for cartilage, for wound healing, which connects right back to that tissue repair goal we saw with the protein. It all links up.
Okay, I see that connection. Then we have the sort of mineral helper complex. Vitamin D around 5 micrograms, crucial for calcium absorption, which ties directly back to that high calcium dose for bone strength. And vitamin E at 10 milligrams. That sounds like a pure defensive play listed as an antioxidant to protect cells from damage.
Exactly, pure defense.
Eh.
Now, let's dive into the B-complex vitamins. This is where I think the real metabolic fine-tuning is evident. Instead of just lumping them together, we need to look at their distinct roles in handling all that energy. They're not interchangeable at all.
Okay, so how do we differentiate them? Like B1, B2, and niacin or B3. They're all listed with roles related to energy release or metabolism. What's the difference?
Good question. So B1, thiamine, it's absolutely critical for the first step. Converting those mass amounts of carbohydrates we talked about into usable energy. It's like the key unlocking the energy door. B2, riboflavin, however, acts differently. It's a vital cofactor needed for basically all the redox reactions in the body, the electron transfers that actually drive energy production and life itself. Think of them as complementary power stations working together. Niacin B3 then comes in to support the broader metabolic chain, kind of managing the flow and processing of that energy once it's released. So yes, all three are fundamentally about energy release, but they each handle a different crucial stage of that incredibly complex process.
Wow. Okay, when you break it down like that, it sounds less like a simple supplement and more like a really finely tuned biochemical toolkit. The level of specialization is pretty fascinating when you see it laid out.
And it gets even more specific. Look at vitamin B6, about 1 milligram. Its job is explicitly listed as protein metabolism. This is the precise enzyme helper needed to break down and actually use that 15 to 17 grams of protein we discussed right at the start. Without enough B6, that protein just isn't utilized as efficiently.
Makes sense. We've also got folate listed, or B9, 200 micrograms.
Right, folate, essential for DNA synthesis. That means cell growth, replication. And as a direct consequence, it's noted as critical for pregnancy care,
Hmm.
which again shows the broad, almost clinical level applications the formulators seem to be considering.
And then B12, the one everyone mentions when they feel tired or foggy, about 2 micrograms here. The function is listed as twofold. Blood cell creation, okay, that makes sense, but also a very specific cognitive function, memory strength.
Exactly. Connecting blood health directly to brain function shows just how comprehensive this formula aims to be. And then, to sort of round out the list, we have vitamin K, about 50 micrograms. This is another specialized player, primarily known for blood clotting, which is crucial for healing, but it also contributes significantly to bone health, working alongside vitamin D and calcium. It kind of locks all those structural benefits together.
Okay, let's try and pull this all together then. Synthesize the picture. We've analyzed this 100-gram serving profile, and what we found, well, it doesn't look like a standard balanced meal replacement for just anyone, does it? It seems much more like a highly engineered tool specifically for recovery and repair.
Precisely. I think the real insight here is spotting the product's clear bias. It's fundamentally a rapid recovery tool. It sacrifices that slow, steady energy delivery you'd get from, say, complex carbs, sacrifices that in favor of immediate caloric availability, which it achieves through that very significant sugar load, plus the dense fat content. But then it carefully balances this need for speed with an incredibly exhaustive, almost pharmaceutical-grade spectrum of micronutrients. Vitamins and minerals designed to support literally every metabolic pathway that this high-speed energy delivery will stress and require.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener, looking at this chart? It confirms this powder isn't just about calories. It's designed as a complete supplement. It hits virtually every key system in the body, from memory and brain function, thinking about B12, all the way to skeletal strength with that calcium, D, and K combination we saw, all while delivering those calories very, very quickly. It's functional complexity, but packaged for speed.
Exactly. And that brings us to the final thought, the tension we've kind of highlighted throughout this deep dive. It connects back to that core conflict.
Hmm.
Speed versus maybe